So today we're going to talk mostly about everything has to do with Seller Central, how to add products, a little bit about the settings that you want to make sure that you get right, and how to sell in all of the marketplaces. So some of the stuff is going to be a repeat, but I want to make sure that we have a good basis for everything. And you know, if we see that you're familiar with it, we can skip forward. Not a problem. Okay, so let's talk about when you add a product. You've added already products, right? We did a little bit of practice last time, right? Hector?
Yes, yes.
Ah, yeah. Yes. Right, we already did a little bit of adding the product, yeah?
Yes. Mm-hmm. At
Okay,
the listing,
so,
yes.
yeah, okay. So, so I want to go over it again with an emphasis on a few things. So if we go into the catalog and we do add products.
Okay.
Okay. So if I add a new product, then I can now remember here, when you add a product, you can, I'm using an ASIN because that's the easiest for me because I have it, you know, saved in the clipboard. But usually here you would put in the EN code or the UPC code, yeah? Okay, so I search for the product. Now, notice that when you enter here, you have, almost always it's going to say listing limitations apply. There's always some form of limitation. That's okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
But what's important here is to pay close attention to what limitations there are. So for instance, this is obviously my own product. So I can sell it new, collectible, and used, not a problem. I cannot sell it as refurbished. Okay, so that's a limitation. So this is just, you know, okay, so that's not a problem. So if I put in sell mine, here is where it gets interesting. So notice that I have here, it gives me an option to either make it a unique offer or an existing offer. Okay, so what does that mean? An existing offer usually means that I have already created a listing with the same ASIN, either on the same marketplace or on a different marketplace. Now, remember that in the European Union, you can share inventory between all of the countries. So we're gonna later in the presentation, we're gonna talk about storage options and where you put things and everything. But most of the time, I do not want to create a unique offer. Okay, here I don't have stock in any, but usually it will say, for instance, here I have in the UK marketplace, I have the SKU. This is my SKU, and I have a marketplace, and it will give me an option to sell the inventory to connect to the same inventory. So what this means is that, and this is very, very important, because if you by mistake create unique offer, it means you will not be able to sell stock from one country to the other. Okay, so let me see if I have it here. No, okay, doesn't matter. So I always want to use the existing offer, unless there's something specifically why you want to, if you want to have separate stock for different countries. Certainly in the beginning, I don't see any reason why you'd want to do that. Okay, now here, if you go down here, it will tell you the recommended retail price, which you don't have to fill, but you do have to fill the price. What is the actual price? Now notice that it gave me the option to match the existing price of whatever was there. Okay, and here the fulfillment channel, and this is again very important, We prefer to always, so you can obviously have the option to ship it yourself, which there are reasons why you would want to do that. But in general, we recommend to all of our students use Amazon to ship, right? Because you don't want to be at home and, you know, create the package and put the postage and go down to the post office and do all of that stuff. Okay, now when you're done here, you just do save and finish, which I'm not going to do now because I don't want to create a new offer. Okay, but what I do want to show you is what happens once this is done. Because since we have the option to sell all over Europe, we want to make sure that it's available through all of Europe. And the way to do that, and actually, let me just, yes. The way to do that is once we have, now remember, once you create the listing, you may have to wait 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, maybe even more for this to appear. So if you created the listing and you don't see it in your Seller Central, just have a cup of coffee, come back in 15 minutes, and it should be there. Okay. Now, what does a listing look like? So a listing has obviously the images, and you'll see a lot of the stuff that we're going to ship doesn't have this. In most of the stuff that you're going to add is going to be empty. You're not going to have any images here. But just so you know, a lot of times it might be in your interest to add images if the listing is really bad, if there's no images at all. So if you go and you see there's 5 images, 6 images, and there's a description, then you can just leave it alone. If you want to, you can choose to improve the listings. And on certain occasions, which I won't get into now, but you'll get into down the road with Marco, it might make sense for you to add descriptions and to add photos and stuff like that. Okay, so the things that there's a description, there's keywords. We won't get into that. We don't have the time to get into that. That's it's very interesting, but you know, maybe for another time, for a more advanced class. You don't need it at the moment. What is important is the offer tab. Okay. Okay. So in the offer tab, you have the condition, you have the sale price, which for our purposes we never touch, we never use. There's no need. But what's really important is what happens here on the bottom. Because here is where you manage, where you can actually create listings in other marketplaces. Now notice that the Netherlands, this is empty, which means I still don't have an offer in the Netherlands. So I'm going to go ahead and add offer in the Netherlands. And what this means is that actually Amazon goes out and creates a listing for me in the Netherlands. And this is the easiest way to create international listings, because the other way of doing it is to go into each and every marketplace in all of the marketplaces and go through the process of what we did before, which is you look for the ASIN, you look for the condition, you press OK on the condition, you keep on. And you have to do that for each one of the 6 marketplaces now. So if you have this option, which you won't always have, but if you have this option, definitely take advantage of it. Create it in the Spanish marketplaces, go into offer, go to the bottom, and then manage offers in other marketplaces. Okay, so again, you go into the listing, you go into the inventory, manage inventory. You click on the listing, and then you add the prices that you want in all of the other marketplaces. Okay. Okay. Save and finish. Now, if I switch to the Dutch marketplace, I'm going to go ahead and do right now. Let's see what happens there. Okay, so if I go into the inventory and manage inventory, notice it still has not appeared yet. This is normal. It takes 10-15 minutes before it will appear. So the main takeaway of here is if you don't see it as soon as immediately, don't panic. It takes time for it to appear.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back to the Spanish marketplace. And I'm going to inventory, manage inventory. Okay. Great. Now, let's take a little bit of time to take a look at what the inventory looks like. So here you have the status, which is active or out of stock, or say incomplete or suppressed. Okay, incomplete, it means that there's some information is missing. But you have the stock here that's simply inactive because it's out of stock. So as soon as it falls out of stock and you're using FBA, right, not FBM, right? Because FBA means that the stock is managed by Amazon. So you won't be able to edit availability. Okay, so notice the difference, okay? This, for instance, is FBM. I can edit availability. I can tell them how much there is.
Okay.
Right? So this is, in my mind, extremely dangerous, right? Because if I put here, say 1, and somebody goes and buys my product, I have an obligation to ship that product.
Yes.
So be very, very, very careful putting availability by hand. You never, basically, again, if we're going to, all of the stuff that we're going to doing, and we recommend everybody to do FBA, you should never edit the stock. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're editing stock, stop.
Okay.
Okay, now a lot of times what happens is when you create a new listing, even though you created it by, have Amazon manage my inventory for me, in the beginning, it will appear as being FBM for some reason. It's a glitch, it's a bug. I'm not quite sure why it happened. I'm not quite sure, but for sure that it does happen. Right? So for instance, you see here, it means it's fulfilled by merchant. Okay? Now, if this happens, all you have to do very simply is you go into here and you can have it convert to fulfilled by Amazon.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and convert it to fulfilled by Amazon. Okay. And notice that currently it says fulfilled by merchant. And I have the barcode type, which we're soon going to get into because this is also something that's very important and will make your life a lot easier. Okay, so I always prefer to use manufacturer barcode. Okay? But manufacturer barcode means the barcode that comes on the package. And for us in retail arbitrage, in online arbitrage, it's the only way to go, right? Because it means if you get a Lego set, if you get a mobile set, the barcode that the manufacturer uses is you just put it in the box and you send to Amazon, and Amazon can scan it in. Lately, Amazon has moved away from manufacturer barcode, mostly in the toy category and the sports category. So in certain situations, Amazon will require you to print an Amazon label, and we will see how to do that soon enough.
Okay.
Okay. But if you have the option to do manufacturer barcode, it's always best to do manufacturer barcode. Sometimes you don't have the option. Now notice you have 2 options here. One is only convert, okay, or convert and send to inventory, okay? which you can also do. So convert basically means it doesn't do anything. It just converts it, and notice that it's not immediate. So if I press convert now and I go back to the inventory, again, any changes to a product might take 15 minutes to an hour to propagate to Seller Central. So if you do an operation and you're sure that it should have done something and it doesn't do it, just wait. Okay, let's for this exercise, let's do convert and send inventory. Because here there's a few interesting things, and also because of the COVID-19, there are going to be some really interesting challenges here. Now, when you convert, this happens every time when you convert, you have to have dangerous goods information, right? Very simple. Does this product have a battery? No, it doesn't have a battery. Is there product regulation information? Okay, so certain products have regulations. This product, I happen to know that there's no regulations, but it is your responsibility to make sure that if there are regulations around it, you find out what they are.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, completed. I have the required information. I can do save and continue. Now what's going to happen is I am going to create what's called a shipping plan. Okay, so there's two things actually. I forgot this. I want to add this to a slide. So shipping plan versus shipments. Now this gets a lot of students confused because it's frankly, I still have to, I get confused with this too, but let's try to get a little bit entangled here. So okay. Shipping plans can be edited and changed. What do I mean by that? So if I'm going into, I can close this. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm creating a shipping plan. So I can create a new shipping plan, or I can add to an existing shipping plan, right? Because what happens is you add to the inventory, you create the shipping plan, and when the shipping plan is created, it can sit there for as long as you need, and then you just can go because you're buying products from different stores. Each store you add its product, and then you want to go and you want to add to an existing shipping plan. So this is something that you're going to use a lot. Okay, for instance, now there's a shipping plan that I created in the good old days of January 27th, when the world was very, very different. And but I'm just going to go ahead and create a new shipping plan.
Okay.
Okay, the destination marketplace I can choose. Here, of course, I want to choose Spain because I'm shipping into Spain. And here I have the option to do either individual products or case packed items. So or case packed items. Okay, so individual products mean that you are mixing different SKUs
okay.
in same box. Okay. Case packed items, it means there's one SKU per box.
when you are talking about SKU, it means product or
like a barcode. So
like a bar.
yeah, right.
Okay.
So actually, we should talk about what's the difference between SKU, FN SKU. I think we mentioned a little bit about it. Right. So let's just duplicate this slide. Right. So you have so you have the ASIN, which is the Amazon identifier. Amazon ID. You have the FN SKU, which is something that is so Amazon's FBA ID.
Okay.
Okay. What do I mean by Amazon's FBA ID? That's for logistical purposes.
Okay.
We have the EN or the UPC, which I almost use interchangeably. EN, the European, UPC, the American, it doesn't matter. And you also have the seller SKU. That is your identifier. So you can choose to edit it. When when we created the product, we had the option, I don't know if you noticed, to put in the SKU. In online arbitrage, we don't care about that. In my hot spare business, then yes, I prefer to have a SKU that means something to me, but it doesn't matter. You can just leave it empty. You can have Amazon create it for yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is important, or this is interesting when we talk about, for instance, FN SKU. So I'm just going to put in a small note here. When using barcode, it is ASIN. Okay, so there are certain terms that are, I'm going to use almost interchangeably, which is, so barcode is identical to commingled inventory. Okay, so and this means, and in this case, the ASIN and the FN SKU are going to be the same.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just open another window here. Okay, now this is a commingled item. This is an item that I created, and we'll soon talk about the settings and where to do that. And I'll encourage you to go into your account while we're doing that, so we can make sure that the FN SKU and the ASIN are the same. If you can manage it, which you can't always, but if you can manage it, then it's a very good thing to have.
Okay.
One way to check that you're commingled or that you're a manufacturer barcode is the FN SKU is going to be identical to the ASIN.
Okay.
Okay. I always make sure that this is the case. Here, it's not the case, right? So here I see, first of all, the FN SKU starts with an X, which already tells me that it's an Amazon barcode, not manufacturer barcode. And that and it's different from the ASIN, of course.
Then, which are the cases that is the same?
When it's commingled. So when it's manufacturer barcode, when it's commingled.
Okay.
Okay. So when I say manufacturer barcode, commingled, I use these two terms interchangeably. Okay, and then EN UPC code we spoke about, and seller SKU is your idea, which we spoke about. Okay, so back to creating the shipping plan. So I have here definitely in the beginning you're going to use individual products, and this is what it means, right? You can have multiple SKUs, multiple products in the same box, or case packed. So I'm going to leave it like that since it's going to be here. Obviously, we're not going to ship from China. This is what one of the advantages here. So
and there is a limit about how many boxes can you send in a shipment. For example, one box of individual products, you can send only 1, 2, 3. Or...
You can send as many as you want. You'll see that the prices of Amazon are amazing. It's really cheap to ship products on Amazon. And the more you ship, the cheaper they're going to be. So this is one thing that you should always choose if you have that choice.
Okay.
Okay, so great. Now, market destination is Spain. I'm shipping from Spain, which is always what we're going to do. Notice a few things. So first of all, so shipping plans and shipments are very different. And it took me a long time to understand the difference. But notice a few things. Here, I can change the quantity, right? I can't continue because of COVID-19, but I can change the quantity. Once I convert a shipping plan into a shipment, I can no longer change the quantity. I can create, so if I did a mistake, or if I had too few or too many products, I have to create it from scratch, which is, it's not a big deal, but so you know.
The shipping plan is before you send the products, and when a shipment commits, you cannot change nothing because it's on the way, the product.
It's not that it's on the way. Don't look for logic here. Certain things.
Okay.
I don't know why that is. That once it's a shipment, that's just the case. It is. You can't. Once it becomes once the shipping plan becomes a shipment, you cannot change anything in quantity. You can't add products, and you can't change the quantity of the product.
Okay.
Now, now let's assume that I was able to create it. So I'm just going to go here and go into Manage FBA Shipments, just so you'll see what it looks like. Right. So these are shipping plans, which this is the one I just created. This is the one that I created on 27th of January. And these are the shipments.
Okay.
Right, so these are the shipments. This is a shipment. There's a last shipment that I managed to sneak in just before COVID-19, luckily, so I have stock. So if I go into a shipment, then I can see, so set quantity, obviously I won't be able to change, right? It will show me what quantity it is, but it won't allow me to edit anything in the quantity. Right, okay, so none of this is editable.
Okay.
Right. But let's take a look at some of the other things. Okay, so for instance, when you go here, when you'll be able to create a shipping plan, you'll be able to, it'll give you a guide if any prep needed. So for instance, certain toys need to be, they come in a box, but the toy itself sticks out of the cardboard box. It has it has a plastic rounding, and because they want to make it nice and they want to make it sort of 3D boxes, so they kind of stick it out. Okay. So some of these boxes, you will need to bubble wrap it. Okay. And you can either do the prep yourself, or you can have Amazon has a paid service, which is very cheap, that you can have Amazon do it.
Okay.
Now, here's the important part. If you ask Amazon to prep any product, and this is very, very important, it will force you to create a separate shipment for that, which will make things a little bit more complicated and expensive for you. So a lot of times, even though the prep service from Amazon is very reasonably priced, you might prefer to do the prepping yourself or have the logistics storage prep it for you.
Okay.
Okay, and the only reason to do that, again, is that everything gets shipped in one shipment. Because what happens is when you finish, because we weren't able to see that, when you finish the shipping plan and you ship to Amazon, Amazon will split your shipping plans into one or more shipments.
Okay.
Okay. So what this means is that, for instance, if you have oversized items, they will be shipped to normally Madrid or some other shipping center. So a lot of stuff that you ship from Barcelona goes to Prat de Llobregat. But if you ship, even if you ship from Barcelona and one of your items or a few of your items are oversized, then you'll get one shipment to Barcelona and another shipment to Madrid. And the same goes if you ask for labeling services or prepping. So let me just talk in a second about hazmat, which is important. But here, what I want to add is actually, let me just create a new slide for this. Duplicate slide. Splitting shipping plans into multiple shipments. So when will this happen? We said, first of all, oversized items. Any Amazon preps or any Amazon service. So this is going to be either prep or labeling. Correct. Right. So you can also ask. So if you have a manufacturer barcode, you don't have to do any labeling. But if there's an Amazon barcode, then you can print the Amazon barcode yourself, or you can ask Amazon to do that. But if you do ask Amazon to do that, it may split your shipping plan to separate shipments.
Okay.
So that's another consideration why you want to avoid Amazon services, even though they are extremely reasonably priced. Okay, I'm thinking of any other. Yeah, no, that's basically the main reasons. Okay, now let's go to labeling products. If you're using manufacturer barcode, there's nothing that you need to do. But notice that I always have the option to print my labels if I want to. Okay, here I don't have this option because this is something that I've already shipped. But let me see. So let's go to manage Fba Shipments again.
And one question, how do I know which products have to be labeled? Because it shows to...
It will tell you. So let's take a look at this shipment, for instance.
When you do the shipment, right?
When you do the shipment, it will tell you which products need labeling and which don't.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now here you can see that I have the option to see who labels, right? But notice that here, this option is not available to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because here, I have to label all of the items. So I can't choose Amazon to label it. Sometimes it's the other way around.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you're able to ask Amazon to label it for you. Here, I don't have that option available.
Mm-hmm.
But I can print labels. There's many ways that I can print labels. I can print labels directly from the inventory. But if I just put, say, 10 here, okay, and say 10 here, then I will have the option, excuse me. Sorry. Don't worry, I don't have COVID. So now that I chose the quantity that I want to print, I can print the labels from over here. Now, I bought actually on Amazon labels that are pre-cut. So this is A4, so DIN A4 labels that are already pre-cut. And if I choose this and I print the labels, I'm just going to do 10 and 10 so they fit on one page. And I'm going to open it. Showing Finder. It creates the labels for me.
Okay, wow, nice.
Right, so all I have to do is print it and stick it on the product, which I tell you, I won't lie, it's a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic, especially in the beginning, because you just go there and you print it out, and it's nice. Right, so it gives you the FN SKU. And notice that this is the FN SKU. Yeah, this is not. So because the FN SKU in all of my cases on my Hotspur brand are always identical to the ASIN. Right.
And you need a label machine, or you can only print this, or
because it's DIN A4, because it's A4. I use my home printer.
Okay.
Some people use a labeling machine. For me, that's hard work, because you print 20 of them on a page, and and it's already pre-cut. You buy. I'll give you the reference of what to buy. And it's pre-cut, and you just print it, and it cuts along the lines, and that's it.
Okay, well.
So if you have a laser printer at home, or a dot matrix, or not dot matrix, I'm showing my age, a inkjet printer, then you just print it, and that's it. Okay. Here the last tab here is review shipments, and here I don't know what it's going to show me now, because it's going to be the COVID-19 limitations, but we'll see.
And one question.
Yes.
How do I know if I need, for example, boxes to put the product itself. For example, if I buy socks, for example, and maybe I need another additional box that I have to buy for myself to put the product. How do I know if the product needs another box to make sure that product is safe at the warehouse?
Unless it's breakable, unless it's like glass or something like that, you don't need
Okay.
Any packaging will do. I ship my, for instance, my swimming buoys, I ship in a poly bag, which is a plastic bag.
Okay.
So, and there's no special requirements unless you feel that it needs special, like it's breakable or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long to validate the shipping plan. But basically, what's going to happen, I'm going to see if I can't, through my other account, show you what it looks like. Basically, what you'll do here is it will give you. This is the stage that it will show you how many shipments, if it's one shipment or two shipments.
Okay.
You need to do more than one shipment, then you it'll tell you need to split these four SKUs in one shipment and these 3 SKUs in a different shipment. And it will tell you where you need to ship each one, and it will provide you with the label that you have to stick on the box. I think this must be a COVID-19 bug or something like that.
If there are 2 shipments, you have to pay for both of them, or you only pay
Yes.
one shipment?
Yes, but the shipments are very well priced. So for instance, if you're talking about, I say up to 15 kilos, if it's like normal size. Okay, right, okay. So now, as you can see, all of this is temporarily disabled because of COVID, which is fine. But once that's done and I press continue, I will have the option to, you'll see it. I mean, we can go through it once we're enabled up and running again, but basically it gives you labels to print on the boxes. It will then ask you what configuration of boxes they are. It'll ask you for the weight and dimensions, right? So I'll take shipping. Okay, so I'm going to add another. Shipping plans into shipments. So I'm just going to walk you through this stage because sometimes it could get a bit tricky. So first of all, once a shipping plan is converted into a shipment, it will tell you how many shipments there are. And then you will weigh and measure each box. Okay, provide weights and dimensions. Actually, I'm going to put it in to the shipment form, and then Amazon will provide you with the shipping labels.
Okay.
Labels. Now, once this is done, duplicate. And here the fun part comes is you ship the product. And the way you do that is you go to UPS. And basically what you do is you go to UPS programar una recogida. Copy link address. And going in there, you probably you go to iniciar sesión. Obviously, I highly recommend that you create a profile, because this way you don't have to retype the address every time you go in. And Amazon, this is I forgot. And this, you want to make sure copy the UPS shipping codes from Seller Central. Yes, and when you go into the UPS, go to UPS schedule pickup. This is going to be your recogida, and you paste the UPC codes provided by Seller Central.
Okay.
Okay, and now here's the weird stuff. There's sort of like, okay, I have to fill in all of the details. No. Your standard. So here's put your address, your phone number, which if you create an account, obviously you won't have to do each time again. Now here's the thing: you can select the date. Right now it gives me only from tomorrow. Okay. And you can select franja horaria. Try to be nice to them, because you're going to run into these people a lot. Okay. So, but since I don't want to wait, I mean, now it doesn't matter because we're at home all the time. But on a normal day, if you don't want to be at home all the time, the best thing to do, if you don't want, especially if you don't want to be in the morning, is if you, because here it doesn't allow you to do AM over here on the última hora, primera hora, última hora, right? So since it doesn't allow me to do this, I always prefer to do it between 11 and 1, but you know, it's up to you. Okay. If you're going to be at home anyway, then that's it. And then you just wait, they come, they scan, and it's the easiest thing in the world. It's a pleasure to work with UPS, I have to say.
And
it really is.
You can go to the UPS center and and give the box to them? Absolutely. And if the box is not big and you want to do that, you can totally do that. Absolutely. But it's cheaper if you do yourself, or it's the same cost? It's the same price. Okay. Sometimes maybe if you have a small shipment and you don't want to wait at home, then it pays for you just so you don't have to wait at home. But otherwise, I highly recommend home pickup. And how it longs doing the shipping plan and the UPS come to your home? So you schedule. Usually you can schedule, let's say, from 15 minutes ahead of time. Like if it's now 1 o'clock, then you could actually not even. You can start like now. You can say from now up until say 2 hours, but give them at least 2 hours. Otherwise, they kind of get annoyed. 2 hours.
Like
Okay.
give them a franja of 2 hours. So if you, so by all means you can say from now, but
Uh-huh.
you know, don't, you know, from now up until 2 hours from now. Don't say
Okay,
1 hour.
okay.
Even though
Okay, okay.
on the web you can do that.
Okay, okay.
Okay. I see we're running a little bit of overtime, but that's okay. Do you have any? Do you have any
Uh,
time limitations?
well, I have a question about
Mm-hmm.
you have to buy the container box of each product.
Oh, so
This
usually you can absolutely recycle whatever boxes you get from the provider. This is what we do.
okay.
And
Okay.
and and this and the logistics center always does that. Also does that. So
Okay.
if so, the logistics center, they'll say, yeah, you know, we could recycle the boxes that we got, or we couldn't, and we needed an extra box, and they'll charge you for the extra box if they do.
Okay, perfect.
You always you have to be in the mindset of a logistics center, not that you're doing it, because you know you're building a business and you don't want to do everything yourself. So you always have to
Okay,
think,
so
okay, what can I ask the logistics center to do for me?
but the logistics center can provide me the box container,
Yeah,
or what do you
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah. The box, the logistics center absolutely can provide you. That's part of the
Okay.
services that they provide.
Okay, nice.
Logistics center can do the labeling for you. They can do the prepackaging,
Mm-hmm.
the prepping for you. They can do everything
Mm-hmm.
for you. A good
Okay.
logistics to be able to do that. Okay. So what I wanted, there's a few more things that I wanted to cover. Product codes. Yes. So when you create a product, you want to make sure that it's not hazmat. You want to stay away from hazmat, right? Because if you have hazmat, you will not be able to ship it to Amazon with UPS. You will have to ship it to Amazon yourself.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's something kind of to stay away with. It's not necessarily the case. We prefer to stay away from hazmat. I put here a link to check if a product is hazmat or not.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You will basically go in here. And this will tell you, basically, you can put an ASIN there, look up an ASIN. Next, I'm just going to use one of my ASINs. Check status. And boom, this product is not classified as dangerous goods. Then we're good to go.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And the other way to find out if something is hazmat or not is simply to create a shipping plan. So if you create, what we had, one of our VAs that's working for us to add products, basically what we had her do in the past is create a shipping plan and then delete it. Because if it's hazmat, then you won't be able to add it to a shipping plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It will tell you when you create a shipping plan. So that's another way of finding it out. But if you would just want to know directly, you can go into this link. Yeah. Okay. So we created a shipping plan, and supposedly we printed the products, we shipped it on Amazon. So now what happens? So now we go into inventory. And first of all, we can follow the shipping plan, so we can figure out if it's right. So manage FBA shipments. I can follow the shipments. I can know where they are, if they're arrived, especially since it's Amazon. So there's the UPC code, and I can have over here on the shipments, I can track shipments. And this basically what it does is it goes to UPS, fetches the tracking information, so you can go either directly into UPS or you can go into Amazon. And eventually, what's going to happen is I have the tracking shipments created in transit, and it received, show full, so everything is okay, and I can see that it arrived. Okay, so this is the shipment events. This is kind of, before we only had this, right? So you had this is kind of strange that the carrier status is shipped. It should have been delivered. I don't know why it's shipped. But as you can see over here, it shows me the whole story, and it shows that it's been received and everything's good. Oh, this is cool. This is new. Now, if you have problems with the shipment, which, to tell you the truth, we don't have too many, then this is going to show you. So it'll show you, so they were shipped 100 and received 100. So sometimes in the past, I've had some problems with it. Lately, it's been a lot better. I haven't had any problems. Whatever ships arrives. But just so you know, if you shipped 100 and they got 10, then you'll have to go to the reconciliation, and then you have to, to show, you have to prove, and go to situation. And if they rule in your favor, then they lost inventory, then they'll compensate you or whatever. But that's okay. Now I'm gonna move a little bit forward because there's a few more things that I wanted to cover today, and we're running out of time. Yes. Okay. So VAT invoicing. So in Spain, you have to pay taxes. It sucks, especially lately, because it doesn't seem like we're getting a lot for our taxes. But I'm not bitter. So what this means is that you have an obligation to create invoices for the stuff that you sell. You are considered to be the seller. It's not Amazon that's selling, it's you that is selling. So if a buyer wants a VAT invoice, una factura de IVA, con IVA, you have the obligation to provide it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you have two options. One, you can generate the invoices yourself, or you can have Amazon generate them for you. I don't know, I can't think of an example why you would want to generate the invoices yourself. Amazon service is free, and it's a good service, and it saves you a lot of work. And most importantly, the customers will never come to you to ask for an invoice, because they will be able to directly down. I don't know if you've run into the situation where you bought stuff on Amazon. A lot of the cases, you could just go into your account and you can just download the invoice directly. And this is why. This is because the seller signed up for the Amazon VAT services. Okay, so this is a great segue into the account settings, because there's a lot of stuff to cover here. I don't know if we're going to have all of the time to do it. We might have to pick up another day, but I want to at least get through the VAT information, because this is really important. So, automatic VAT calculation. Turn it on. I can't think of any reason why you would want to. Of course, as soon as you have your VAT number, your número de IVA. Have you started talking to an accountant yet?
Yes.
Okay. So invoices. Okay. So like I said, it means that Amazon will create invoices on your behalf, and you, at the end of every month, or at the end of at the latest at the end of every quarter, you will have to download these invoices and send them to your accountant to be. So let's go. Okay, so if I go to settings, account info, and I go into Vat Calculation Settings. There's a few settings here that are very important, probably stuff that we should cover too. But just so we stay on topic, the Vat Calculation Settings. There's a few more things I have to cover, but I'm afraid we're running out of time. Okay, let's just do this because this is important. So you, and in the beginning, you have an obligation to obviously file VAT in the country that you reside in, which is Spain. But you may also have an obligation to file VAT in other countries. And the main two reasons is either you go above a certain amount of sales, which is say 82. So depending on the country, for instance, you can see that in France it's 82,000, in the UK it's 85,000, and in Germany it's as low as 17,000. Okay? In Spain there's no threshold, but it doesn't apply to you because you have to declare in Spain anyway because you're here.
Okay.
Now, the other reason why you might have to file VAT in the country, even though you don't reach these limits, is if you store stock in a specific country.
Okay.
Okay, so if you store stock in Germany, then you will have to declare taxes in Germany. And it could be that you might find yourself storing stock without meaning to, without doing it on purpose. Okay, and the reason that will happen, I'm just going to go into okay, so basically, how can you store stock? So first of all, you can store stock locally and sell locally only to Spain. Right? It's easy enough. You're only selling to Spain. Again, I don't know why you would want to sell only to Spain, but let's say you just want to sell to Spain. You store locally in Spain, and you ship from Spain to Spain. That's pretty simple. Okay. You can store in multiple geographies. You can store in Spain and other countries. Same thing. You can keep inventory in multiple countries, what Amazon calls a multi-country inventory. And the most complicated but also a very good idea to do is pan-European storage. Do not use pan-European storage at the moment. You can only use pan-European if you declare VAT in all 7 or 8 countries. Okay, don't. Okay, you will need to declare VAT in. Okay, actually, I have a slide about that.
Okay.
So the next slide over here. Pan-EU. Okay, so for Pan-EU, you must file VAT in all countries. Why? Because you're storing stock in all countries. Okay. Now, why would you want to do that? You want to do that. You will want to do that. For instance, on both me and Marco have enabled Pan-European because the shipping costs are a lot cheaper. Because basically, Amazon, instead of shipping one product from Spain to France when a sale is made, it ships a whole crate full of stock to France, and then the shipping costs that it charges you is locally. So the shipping costs are going to be cut in half.
Okay.
Okay, so Pan-European, very good to keep in mind. Do not make sure that it's turned off and don't turn it on to begin with, because then you'll find yourself very quickly, they'll ask you to declare taxes in Germany and you won't have it, and they will shut you down in Germany until you declare taxes there, until you provide them with a VAT number. Okay, so I think we're going to stop at this point, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Well, with pan-European, you have to store the product in the warehouse of the country, or it's send it from.
So basically, what Amazon does is it's a very clever algorithm that basically figures out and tries to predict where stock is going to be needed.
Okay.
So they look at the sales and they say, okay, you know, this Lego train selling a lot in France. We're just going to go ahead and proactively send 5 units to be in France, and this way, people in France are going to get great service because they're going to order it and it's going to arrive the next day.
Okay.
Right? So Amazon does all of the optimization, and for you
Okay.
it's great because you're paying a lot.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. I just want to show you before we log off where these things existing. So if you're going to settings and you go into account and you go into fulfillment by Amazon.
Okay.
And you know, please do that as an exercise after we finish here.
Okay.
There are basically the 2 settings that we talked about is the cross-border fulfillment. So the pan-European FBA, as you can see on my account, it's disabled.
Okay.
And allow inventory to be stored in other countries. So you can also allow inventory. So for instance, if for some reason you also declare taxes in France, then you can say, I allow stock to be stored in Spain and in France.
Okay.
Step below pan-European FBA. And while we're here, the other thing that I wanted to show you, because we were talking about barcodes, is this, the FBA product barcode preferences. Notice that here in the barcode preferences, I put manufacturer barcode. This means that when I create a listing, if it's available, the default is it will create a manufacturer barcode, which always makes it simpler.
Okay.
Okay, more questions.
Talking about the shipping, how long from UPC to Amazon warehouse?
It usually arrives the same day, but the stock will be available for sale sometimes as quickly as the next day, and sometimes it could take a week before it's all registered.
Okay. Then it's maybe when you do the shipping plan, 1 week, you have to wait 1 week to see the product available on Amazon.
It's rare. It's usually maybe 1 to 3 days, but you know, sometimes it takes longer.
Okay, perfect. Okay, another question. You can skip UPC and go with, for example, your own car to the Amazon warehouse, or it's not possible?
No, you can't go with your own car ever. You can use your own shipping agent. So if you want to, for some reason, you want to use any of the major shipping companies, you can. But you can't drive a car up to Amazon and bring it yourself there.
Okay. You can change, for example, change UPC to another company, for example.
MRV or Seur or whatever. You can use any of them, but trust me, you will never want to. You will never, because just imagine that a up to a 15-kilo box. That's sort of like normal size, like 30 by 40 by 60, is going to cost you €4 to ship.
€4.
And
Well,
nobody is going to give you those rates.
okay.
So
okay.
you're welcome to try, but it's I don't know how they make it so cheap. It's subsidized by Amazon, or Amazon has a lot of, I don't know how.
Okay, that's all. I don't have more questions.
Okay, great. In that case, we'll end for today, and we will pick up next week. Well, but during the week, let's follow up in terms of the stores to make sure that we have your stores up and running. And next week, we can start with the software itself and maybe some key valves. Marco, see what's on his mind.